Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Ask Kati Anything. I'm your host, licensed marriage and family therapist, Kati Morton. I'm so glad that you're here. Today, I have a very special guest. I am joined by Andra Liemandt. She is the founder and CEO of the Kindness Campaign. We're going to talk all about it. A national nonprofit advancing emotional literacy through programs and tools for schools, hospitals, libraries, and families. Passionate about expanding access to emotional health resources, especially in Title I schools, Andra's work focuses on building cultures of kindness, resilience, and belonging. A children's book author and sought-after speaker, she has delivered keynotes at South by Southwest, Google, IBM, and beyond. Through the Kindness Campaign, she's committed to helping young people develop the emotional skills they need to thrive in school, relationships, and life. I'm so glad to have you here. Can't wait to talk about all of this. First of all, I love everything about the Kindness Campaign. From what I've read, from what Jen, you guys know Jen, she was on the podcast a few weeks ago.
Love Jen.
I know, she is the best.
Yes.
She's the one that connected us. And when she told me about this, I mean, first of all, emotional literacy is something that I don't know why we don't teach it in schools, period.
Right.
Like as curriculum, federal, it should be, emotional intelligence helps us do everything better.
Absolutely.
You know, I think of like kids growing up being the like class clown, and it's because they don't know how to regulate or they don't know how to get proper like positive attention. They'll take any attention. And the therapist to me is like, this is so important. So I love that you're doing this work. I guess a good place to start would be, tell us how the Kindness Campaign came to be and the catalyst for it, and like really what your motivation is.
Well, that goes back quite a ways. We've been actively a nonprofit for at least 10 years. We're now into our 11th year, and I cannot even believe it. But if I really take you back, you know, kind of a little bit before it all started until, you know, we actively became a nonprofit, I'm a mom. I have 2 daughters, and I was, you know, being a mom and really just trying to do the best I could as a mom. I think for all the mommies out there, you know, you're reading the books, you're pursuing, you know, anything that you can to really feed into them, whether you're reading, you know, books, watching podcasts, you're thinking about, you know, what's the right food for them. You're trying to grow them into these beautiful humans. And so at that time, before all of this began, that was my life. I was volunteering at the school. I was, you know, on those field trips, doing all those beautiful things, and really enjoying being a mom. And during this time, I received a phone call from a very good friend of mine, and she said her daughter was in the hospital. And, you know, I didn't know all the circumstances around it, but of course I ran up there. And this was the moment, I would say, that changed my life. It really was this moment between being a mom that's just like, eat your green peas and your vegetables, to what is facing our kids. What are our kids facing every day? The challenges at school, what's happening? And when I got to the hospital, not really knowing what was happening, but that something big was happening. And I walked in and they led me back there, and I saw her in the hospital room, and the priest was there. I quickly began to realize that this was not come visit my daughter in the hospital because, you know, she's sick. Mm-hmm. It's something really, really wrong has happened. And my friend was not giving a lot of details at that time. And of course, I was not asking anything. Mm-hmm. The priest prayed over her, and that was it. Since that time, we unpacked that for about a year of what really happened to her.
How old was she?
She was 12.
Just a baby.
And there was a lot of hush-hush. Wasn't a lot said about what happened. But later, as the family continued to heal and as I continued to walk along them in the journey, I understood that she had been bullied at school and that she had taken her own life. And as I kept going to school, raising my daughters, they were very young, I began to operate out of this really strange place of fear that I had not known before as a mom. It was a very weird turn in my life because I felt before that a lot of joy, a lot of enthusiasm and play date schedules and all of those things. It was very much a part of what I believed to be known my whole childhood and what I wanted for my kids' childhood to be very different in this moment. And so out of that fear, I sat down at the kitchen table with my girls and I wanted to know what was happening at school because I was in the lunchroom. I knew the kids and I was like, what happens when I'm not there? So we started what today is this little, well, what began was this journal for those of you who are watching on can see. It's this little black and white journal, and we created a friend called Enoughie Buddy. My girls at the time loved those little plushies with the big eyes and all of those, those toys that they slept with. There were so many you could barely find them in the bed.
Yeah. Like I bought one for my niece, a Squishmallow.
Yeah.
She's really into Squishmallows.
Yes. So we were really thinking about at that time, like something that we could find a common ground of conversation. I didn't have any background in any of this. I didn't have the tools. I didn't know where to find the tools. And so really, I knew art. I love art. My mom is a teacher. And so I kind of went to that as a way to figure something out in my home. We crafted all the time. So we sat down at the kitchen table and we drew an Enoughie Buddy. He looks like he was drawn by a child. It's because he was. He has no nose. He has these weird little antennas. And we created storylines and prompts of some of the things that my girls were talking about at school, like tripping in the lunchroom and things that felt weird on the playground. And I used these little 3x5 note cards and I said, let's write out some things that are maybe you're going through. And so I developed this journal that I Xerox copied and I had some people help me. Of course, I'm not an artist, but I had
Me neither.
had another mom friend that was, and she helped me pull it together. And then I gamified it. I thought, there's this thing that I always felt in school growing up that, why wait till the end of the year and get your yearbook and find out what everybody thinks about you? Why don't you do it all year long? And so I gamified this in the back where we had stickers, and it's called See It, Say It, Write It. And you could move through different levels, and we have stickers, and you could just kind of move through it, and you could earn your different levels, level 1, 2, 3, to find out every time you signed it for someone else, you would get a sticker, and you had to put really positive things about them so that if they were ever feeling low, they could go to not only the journal of the things that they put in there with the writing prompts, but then something that was empowering and uplifting from their friends. And I thought, well, hey, it also encourages writing, which we all know is an important skill.
Yes.
So I thought the teachers might cling to that. And so I brought it to the principal and I asked him if it could go in my girls' classes. And I thought this might be a way for them to heal. And personally, I thought, maybe this might be something that would be meaningful to my girls. Well, the principal said, this is amazing. I want it for the whole school.
Wonderful.
And I thought, okay, well, let me go make some more copies at Kinko's.
Let me get these spiral bound.
Hold on. And, being the active participant at the school, I was very excited. I was like, sure, anything to help. And so we rolled it out at the school. And that really is the beginning of a very long journey in my life of how the kindness campaign began. And it's definitely grown from this one little journal and many different iterations. This journal launched into the principal there really catapulted it. He really championed it into 5 other schools. And then from there, it was one of those things in Austin, if you live here, you kind of run into people, and it's like sometimes
It's a small,
it's a
big
small,
town.
big town, but also a town that loves to lift each other up. And I ran into the director of health and wellness for AISD, which is one of the largest independent school districts. And she's like, I love this. Why don't we, offer it to our counselors at our counselor kickoff? And I was like, okay. And so I got to work. It was just me and another girl for a little while. And we launched into 50 AISD schools. And at that time, I created a couple other journals because this one was, I thought, let's get some real meat and potatoes behind what we're going to do. And really started bringing people behind me that could do some real work in the schools because I believed it was necessary. There was a stat at the time that she told me that 1 in 4 kids come in the school system by the age of 3 that experience some form of trauma. Mm-hmm. And I, as I was absorbing all this information and just really learning, I thought, well, that is a foundation I want to build on. I want to change that statistic and I want to give them something that they can learn from. And so that's where I started, was with the littles.
You have to start somewhere, right? Because it's a big undertaking.
Yeah.
And with your friend who lost her daughter, did she have no idea what was happening, kind of thing? Like she didn't know what was going on or how to help, really?
Her family is very private. Mm-hmm. And I think that it was a very big shock for she and her family. And I think her daughter wanted to be a teacher. Mm. And so she feels very honored by what is happening. But yeah, I think something like this could have been very meaningful at a time where, prevention is a big key to helping people. What I like to say is see to the other side. Mm-hmm. If you just can, I always felt that if she had just known that one more day, if she could have sat with it one more day, maybe she'd be with us today.
Yeah.
And that's true for anything, whether you're young or old.
Yeah.
What would one, when my girls were young, we'd say one sleep, mm-hmm. One sleeps. We just need to rest on it and then wake up and maybe everything will be better. And if it's not better, maybe there's someone you could talk to that could help you find some skills or tools that can help you along that path. And that's the idea. One of the big things with the kindness campaign is we like to skill build so that when you're in those moments, because they come, they come for me. They come for all of us in different moments, in different flavors and different ways. And when they happen, knowing you have something in your tool chest, in that tool belt that maybe helps you, whether it's breath or going out for a walk or, something simple that you'd cling to that helps you get through it, is really important. When we walked in today, we were talking about age and things like that. And one of the things that I often think about is I have so many lives to live. I've lived so many lives, but I have so many more in me that I'm still living, and it's exciting. And sometimes when it feels like it's rough, it can feel really low and hard. And you can't see that life. It feels so far away. But if I know I have that one little thing that gets me, then I get excited again. And I know that life is there for me. And so we all go through it.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I've shared with my audience too. I think it makes me a better therapist, makes me a better human to know how to, and it's not like, I don't know if know is the right word, but it's like to remember what it feels like to be there. Because I think sometimes, we can lose sight of the fact of how heavy depression can be or how heavy those hard times can be. And forget that asking someone to do a ton of things is overwhelming when we feel like we're just surviving, right? Like just to shower and get myself together, it takes all the energy that I have.
Yes.
But then having those tools, I think it is important. I always have said that as a therapist, I'm just trying to light a spark for you of a little bit of hope. But I love that see to the other side, because one thing I know depression and dark times it darkens out all of the light of life and makes it so we can't even see forward at all. And it makes it really hard for us to see if who people care about us, what we can look forward to. So that's something that's always like you try to stir that in people is like, what's something we can look forward to?
Right.
Like, I look forward to not feeling like this. Okay, that's good. You
Right.
know, I look forward to summertime, or I look forward to going to the pool to do this, or I look forward to seeing this person or whatever, any small thing.
Yeah. And something that I think about too is when you're in that state, it's not about, it's all the work in between. And they always say preparation meets that moment, right? And so it's all that work that you're doing. So when you're in it, you have the capacity to kind of turn your brain off and go into memory mode. So for me, sometimes I remember a long period or a long stretch where baths were all I could do at night. I did a long hot bath, and I would just go in there, and it was the process of creating the bath, sitting in the bath and doing nothing, getting out of the bath, and then waking up and doing my gratitude journal and knowing that that was my process until I could heal where I was. But I had created that system as something that was helpful to me, knowing it was soothing. And so it's the work and the strengthening and the skill building of the in-betweens that get you there, because it comes for you at different times.
And we never know, right?
Right.
It's like prep work, because I always talk about like building muscles and
Right.
stuff. I can't just one day be like, I'm going to lift 100 pounds.
Right.
But if I've been lifting like 5s
Yeah.
and then I did 10s, and you like
Sure.
build up. And so it's like you're building that mental muscle so that you have the tools. Sometimes I just don't have the time or honestly the brain space for proper grocery shopping. When I'm juggling working, writing, filming, and just life, the last thing I want to do is wander around a store trying to figure out what's healthy, what I need, and what I'm going to cook. That's why I started using Hungry Root, and it has really changed things. It's the easiest way to eat healthy because it basically works like a personal nutrition coach and grocery shopper all in one. You tell them your goals, whether that's eating more whole foods, getting more protein, cutting back on certain ingredients, and they fill your cart with personalized recommendations. I've ordered their high protein meals, smoothie options, and quick lunches for busy days, and what I love is that it actually learns what I like. Every box feels more tailored to me, and there's no junk ingredients, just high quality foods that make staying on track feel simple. If your New Year's resolution didn't magically stick past January, you're not alone, but this makes it way easier to actually follow through. Take advantage of this exclusive offer. For a limited time, get 40% off your first box, plus get a free item in every box for life. Go to hungryroot.com/Katie and use code Katie. That's hungryroot.com/Katie, code Katie, to get 40% off your first box and a free item of your choice for life. Was having like a really, really tough time, and I'm a journaler. So this is just right on. It's very on
I
brand.
have an adult journal for you. Oh, I should have brought that.
Oh, you're okay.
Oh.
Well, we'll see. We'll see another time. But I love journaling, and I used to just journal about my day and just like vent. And I don't know. I did the Artist's Way workbook, and I don't know if you're familiar with it.
Okay.
But you do this thing called morning pages. And morning pages are different than journaling where you're just venting. You're supposed to just almost free write before your brain's even online.
Yes.
Like you get up and you start writing. It doesn't need to make sense. And I had to write for 30 minutes. It doesn't have to be spelled correctly, not legible. It doesn't matter. You're just getting it out. And I got such in this rhythm of doing that I found, first of all, like my emotionality, like my overwhelm was brought down. And then I started journaling in a chunk where I would do the dump, like the just whatever comes up.
Right.
Then I'd go into what I'm grateful for. And then I would start talking about what I'm looking forward to, as if it's already happened.
Oh,
like
for the day or for like?
For whatever, for life, for today or tomorrow or whatever.
Just in general. Oh, I love that. I'm going to add that. Oh my gosh.
It's like
I'm so excited.
It's changed my brain
Okay.
because when I get in a dark spot or when I have a negative thought, my brain automatically goes to like, that's not supposed to work out, and that's okay. And you know what's exciting is that then that leaves space for this. Like my brain goes into this like, I don't know. I think it's just through, I like programmed myself to be like, I can vent. This is really shitty. Ugh, I hate that happened. Ugh. And then I'm like, no, but I'm grateful for this opportunity because now I have space for this other thing I'm looking forward to.
Yeah.
And it's like my brain goes in that those segments without me realizing it. And I think it's made me, first of all, more resilient, which is the goal.
Right.
But it's also like, it pulls me out of dark spots so much more quicker.
And there's something to be said. I'm a huge fan of Mel Robbins and all of the work she's been talking about. She had someone on her, and I'm forgetting who it was, but had someone on her podcast around mindset. And what you're talking about is literally your brain has the capacity to be in, it's literally just creating a mindset. So you're setting your mind, like you can just create it based on the way you are training your brain to say, I'm going to look at it this way, and this way. And that's my view. And I love that so much, because when we are in states of desperation where you're thinking something's not working out, a natural state is to go into a complete negative voice.
Yes.
And if you're just like, oh, okay, well, then I'm going to shift. And that is such a beautiful thing. It's great for if you're working for someone, it's great for people to be around, like people want to be around those people. I love what you're doing. I'm going to start doing that.
Report back. Let me know.
I will.
And I didn't realize, I think it's kind of ironic is as a therapist, people always assume like, oh, you know everything and you do everything better. And I'm like, no, I know a lot about it, but knowing and doing are very different. And I didn't even realize that I was training my brain to think in this way. I just knew that I couldn't stay in vent negative mode anymore. It was like making my life miserable. Yeah. And I was feeling terrible. And I was like, I am the keeper of my own life. I'm the decider of how I'm going to live. And I know that's really hard. It was really hard for me to admit. I know it's hard for other people to admit that, like, I'm the decider. Like, today can be good or bad depending on me. Yeah. Because I can't control anybody else. I can't control my circumstance in a lot of situations, but I can control how I think and feel about it.
Yeah.
And it's, I mean, easier said than done. This took me probably, I mean, I've been doing it for years, but I would say the last year is when I really reaped the rewards, where things would happen and I wouldn't spiral and I wouldn't get angry and I wouldn't feel myself get really anxious or overwhelmed. I'd be like, okay, yes, thanks. Next, you know, I could just move on. Yeah. And it's, so you have to let me know.
Yeah. Well, and gratitude is a huge, I mean, there's just so much data to support living in gratitude and having that be a daily practice. And, you know, I was on the way here, just being in gratitude for this opportunity to be able to meet you and get to know you. And, you know, every moment is a moment of, you know, being able to spend time in thinking about how it's joyful, how it brings joy to you, but joy to a community you've built. And you've worked so hard for where you are. And it's so neat to be able to share in it, right? And I'm grateful for that. And so I think in telling people, like, I think, you know, being able to share gratitude outwardly, you know, you're writing it, but then this morning, I mentioned I was going to Houston. My sweet aunt passed away, and my cousin is one of my closest cousins. I consider her a sister. She texted me this morning and said how grateful she was for her Victoria family, where I'm from. And I just received that. And I think, you know, in times of when we're loving on family or we're loving on each other, sharing that gratitude can do so much for one another. And so it's really important.
I believe there's like, if whether you're religious or spirituality, or like, I feel like there's more in our universe than just us, right? And I feel like if somebody's put on my mind, then I should reach out, because it's like, I feel like maybe they need that at that moment, or maybe it's, even sometimes I've been doing this new practice, and I'll report back if this is beneficial, but when I think of my friends, I try to like send them love just in my mind. I'm like, I hope they have a good day. I hope everything just goes their way today. Because I'm like, I might not have a time to call them just in this moment, or I'll look because of the time difference and I'm like, oh, it's a little early for them. But I'll just think about them and be like, I hope they're sleeping well and then they have a good day. And it makes me feel better. And I believe in my brain, whether it's true or not, that it makes their day better. I believe it is. Because energy, I feel like it's all energy, right? Yeah, and I'm sending positive stuff out there. And I think sometimes, especially in our world and the way social media, unfortunately, like algorithms push things out, it can make us feel like it's very negative. But I feel like there is a lot of good, and we can be the Sherpas of that.
Yeah.
I want to talk about, because I thought this was super cool, I'm checking my notes, is that you have a thing called the magic mirror. And can you explain to us what this is and how it works?
Yes. And it really is a nice kind of segue from what we're talking about, you know, whether it's gratitude or having these conversations in your head and how you're speaking to yourself and others. This actually is a tool that was created. I mean, it's been with us. It's one of our number one requested tools for the last 10 years and going. It is a tool that is a two-way mirror device. It's large, so think of like a photo booth, an old phone booth. Think of
yes,
like,
yes.
It's large, like a physical.
Like you get into it.
Like yes. And you step up in front of it and you put on headphones and you begin a conversation looking at yourself. And usually it can last anywhere from, a couple minutes to 5 minutes. And we take you on a journey with a question of how do you feel when you look in the mirror? And it opens up a dialogue around all those emotions. And since its inception, since we've brought it out into spaces from cancer survivors to we brought it out with the National Eating Disorder Association.
So that's my specialty. Now you're in my,
To, even just in schools, in different spaces and places with schools, to community events, runner events, the Capital 10K here in Austin, just different places. There is this feeling that people get when they come up to the mirror. First of all, with AI now, people think it's like some...
Oh, that it's like fancier than it is. Almost like it's like a computer generated.
It's a computer generated, but it is a real person speaking to you and caring for you, supporting you. And the goal of it is to have you feeling uplifted as you walk away, feeling seen, feeling heard. Your sense of self-worth is, feeling supported as you walk away. But most importantly is that you can continue that conversation at your own mirror. So when I'm going to take a step back. That is what the mirror is actively doing today. We have several versions of this mirror. Because I did say it's one of our most popular mirrors. We have what we call a DIY, where we actually just did a large event in Arlington, Texas, where we where we built with Action Behavior Centers. They built 10 of these mirrors. They're being donated to Arlington ISD. It'll serve 25,000 students. Wow. And we train up all of their staff there to use the mirrors in the schools. This is a one-way mirror. It's not what I'm talking about. It's like, so it's a little bit of a different version. It's more affordable.
I would say easier
and accessible.
Yes.
Because we know that there's a lot of, when you can do mirror work, there's a lot you can do to help change that negative voice when you're met with it at the mirror.
And I loved it because I've been trying mirror work.
Yes, I heard that. Okay.
I'm like new to it. I mean, I say new, probably
We'd love to get you at our mirror.
Yes. And it's interesting because there is something so powerful and like, I guess confronting is the right word.
Yes.
When you look yourself in the eyes and you say your name, I think of them as like good. We call them like good mother messages when you're doing inner child work or when you're trying to heal from past stuff. Good mother, good father, whatever. It's like, I am enough.
Yes.
I see you. I value you. I love you. Like all of those things are really powerful. And unfortunately, not all of us hear those things all the time. And especially we don't say them to ourselves. And I think there's such incredible power in looking yourself in the eyes and saying those things and hearing those things. And most importantly, and the hardest part, it takes a little while, receiving it.
That is. And what I've seen over the last decade is oftentimes people are even somewhat hesitant to even look at themselves in the mirror. I have years and years and years of this experience of interacting with people coming to the mirror and data on people in their response to the mirror. And one of the biggest things is there's a video online. You can go to YouTube and see the magic mirror if you want to link it.
Yeah, we'll put it in the description.
Yeah, you can watch the origin. We call it the OG mirror. This mirror does not travel. It did at one time. Let me tell you, that's quite the feat.
She's retired. Yeah.
We have retired her. She was a beautiful thing at the time. But a massive undertaking. She really, when we launched her, we had built this at the mall here. We kind of landmark, set her down. We had planned to have 10 women who we had selected to do kind of these surprises at the mirror. And we had videos from their loved ones who wanted to really tell them how they saw them. So it is quite moving. Get your tissue ready because it is really when you are there to see yourself. What they did was we asked them one question: how do you feel when you look in the mirror? And they were able to rate themselves. And when they did, a lot of them didn't rate themselves very high. And then we took them on this journey to see themselves through the eyes of people who loved and cared for them most. And then you saw them and you saw their change. And then we had them rate themselves again. And it was this beautiful experience for these women. One of the things that we learned in doing this video, this big setup, was that in the midst of these 10 women that we were surprising, was we had random people at the mall. We're like, what is this? In the,
because they walk by and
they walk by and we're like, I guess we could talk to them. And that's how this kind of spawned on this idea that we could talk to people after, because what we learned was that everyone wants to be seen. And we could take people on that journey, whether or not we had their loved ones in these fancy videos who knew everything about them, that everyone wants to be seen and wants to be valued and wants to know that they're enough. Our core is that we were born enough, we are on this earth enough, and to have that message on a recording in our brain is very valuable.
Oh, incredibly powerful
and
too.
Powerful, but somewhere between birth and toddler to wherever, pre-K, kinder, somewhere, we learned something along that way that maybe we're not. And so to reprogram that, it takes work, and it takes, really working that muscle, and mirror work can do that.
You're so right. And I think for each of us, I think things happen either repeatedly. It's usually not just a one and done, right? It takes way more to change a belief. So that's why it's not going to be changed overnight either. But with practice, we can undo the damage,
right?
So that we can get back to believing we're enough. I love that you said seen, heard. There's a ton of research in developmental psychology to prove that the most important things for children is to know that they're seen, heard, and understood. And so it's not like, oh, I see you. Yeah. No, it's like, I get you. I understand.
Right.
I hear from you. You're participating with me.
Yeah.
And that sounds so simple, yet so many of us don't grow up in families where that's offered, or where that's continued through life. And so we can start to feel like we don't belong, or we're not good enough, or, I even share that growing up, because my dad worked away from home a lot because he thought his main goal was to provide for us, which he did. And that I'm so fortunate. But then I thought there was a scarcity of him. So I grew up without him realizing that I thought I had to hustle to get more attention. Oh, dad's home. There's a scarcity of dad. I need to be the best so that he'll come to my game, so that he'll show up for this. And you just never know what messages children are receiving. And I want all parents to know, you're doing the best you can.
Yeah.
It's not always malicious intent. Abuse and stuff like that is its own thing.
Yes.
But this isn't always out of, there's no necessarily harm that's intended, but that doesn't mean that it didn't happen and that we don't have a certain belief that is formed because of it. And mirror work is a beautiful kind of way out. Or a way to reprogram or to change, to go back to that, I am good enough. I am who I am. And that's,
and
that's all I need to be. Yeah.
And that is enough.
Yeah.
I know. I think about that constantly with my own daughters. I'm like, okay, at what point did I miss it? Did I not do enough? And I think that's another, trying to learn to just release that. For all the parents out there, I'm with you on that. I know it's especially as they go off and they leave the nest and they go to do their lives, you're like, man, I hope I equip them with everything they need. And, that constant little inside you, you feel, you hope you've done everything you can. And, but at the same time, you are one person and you can only do what you can do with what you have when you have it.
Yeah.
And give yourself grace and be grateful of the journey you've had. And I was sitting talking to my oldest yesterday. My youngest, sorry. She seems like the oldest. She's in the house and just so wise. And I just am full of gratitude for the journey we've had. And I feel so lucky. Ooh,
Yeah.
But I think, and I think, oh, I'm sure I missed it here or there, and I'm sure I'm missing it somewhere, but it's life.
Yeah. And I think there's a thing, and I don't know if you feel this way about your mom, but like, I know that my mom did the best that she could with what she had.
Right.
And this took some time. I think probably in my 20s, I was discovering who I was on my own, which is its own try and fail.
Yeah.
And that's nothing wrong. My mom and dad didn't do anything wrong. It was more me trying to figure out, who am I without them?
Yeah.
Who am I on my own? And I think sometimes as parents, like there's this urge to do everything, but I'm like, not all you have to do, but all you have to do is let them feel seen, heard, and understood, and teach them to be critical thinkers.
Yeah.
To be able to take in information and say, I agree or I don't, and here's why.
Right.
Sorry, I told you I'm a crier in general.
I know.
I tried to prepare you. And I think that a lot of parents, especially people who want to do better, right, and we want to be the best, is like there's this concern that like, oh, but did I tell them this? Like the number of times my mom's like, I don't know if I told you about this, but you should be careful about this. And like it
I get
pops
those
into
little
her
texts
head.
from my dad. He'll be like, have you seen that this is going on? You need to watch. And it's always like these things
A scam
about.
or
Yeah. I'm like, oh yeah.
Yeah, like I'm not grown, but
I'm like, thank you, Dad.
once a parent, always a parent, right? Like
I love it though.
yes,
Yeah.
He loves you. He cares for you. He's
Exactly.
like, wait, oh, not my baby.
Yeah.
No matter how old we get, we're still their
Exactly.
babies. And I think for a lot of parents, they can feel like, oh, I need to do everything perfectly. And I'm like, no, you have to let yourself off that hook. Like you said, give yourself grace.
Yep.
There are things that like I wish I would have known from a younger age. Like my family doesn't fight, so I never really knew how to repair or have arguments.
Yeah.
And that like, was difficult. Like, but I got into therapy. My mom was a huge advocate for therapy, hence probably why I'm a therapist.
I love that.
And I think there's a lot of ways that we as humans take what was given to us and then we make more out of it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you don't have to give them the full, I almost think of it like, and this might just be me, but like a puzzle, right? You don't give them all the pieces.
Right.
You give them like half of them or the border.
Yeah.
And once we have that border, if anybody's a puzzler, I love puzzles. Once you get that border, then you can really start filling things in.
Oh my gosh. My oldest is a puzzler. I remember one time she had a white puzzle.
Oh.
Yeah. Wow. And I just sat there staring at it like, this is for real.
This isn't a prank.
Yeah, this is real.
I'm not that intense. I like puzzles.
Is a puzzler.
And I like hard, but not that hard.
So that is my gift to her always is I'm always seeking. So if anybody has, like, reach out to me. I'm always looking for the hardest puzzles. Another analogy a friend used to say to me, a dear friend, is, kids it's like a swimming pool, and you're on the edges and they're just swimming. They're swimming. And every now and then they're going to come to the edge and just kind of like hold on for a second. And you're there to help them. And then they're going to go back out and they're going to swim. And so you're just there kind of just helping them. And I love that analogy. Another one I use is like a hot, air balloon. And every now and then I'm kind of like hitting it in the air. And I'm like, okay, you've got a little nudge, but most part, you're just like out there. You're doing your thing. And yes, I'm here to support you, rooting for you. You've got this. And I'm just proud of you. I think the messages I try to send to my girls always is like, I'm rooting for you. I'm proud of you. I think, at the end of the day, like, their choices are theirs, and empower them to go live a life that they want, and I'll back them.
And I think that's really important. It's like in therapy, we call it like secure attachment. We talk about what that really means is that your parents laid this foundation and you feel safe pushing off from it. Like I have this and I can come back. I can come back to my safe spot because my parents created that for me. And then I can go out and I can figure things out. And then I can be like, ooh, I don't know. Okay, back to my safe spot.
Love that.
So you have this. Thank you to care.com for sponsoring today's episode. When I think about how overwhelming it can be to find care for someone you love, I think back to my great grandma. She was fiercely independent, still doing her own yard work. And one afternoon, she fell in her backyard and lay there for hours before a neighbor heard her calling for help. That moment changed everything for my family. It was suddenly clear she couldn't safely live alone. My mom and her brother spent weeks visiting senior communities, walking the halls, asking questions, trying to figure out where she could not only be safe, but truly cared for and treated with dignity. And even after they chose a place, they second guessed. Did they find the right place? Is this the one that she should have been in? And they'd always worry that they didn't make the right decision. Is she okay? Is someone really paying attention? When you're trying to make the best decision for someone you love, it can feel like the weight of the world is on your shoulders, and no family should have to navigate that alone. If you don't know where to start, care.com is here to help you breathe again. You can browse background checked in-home caregivers or explore local senior living communities. At care.com, you'll find specialized support for everything from meal prep to support for loved ones with dementia, backed by real reviews from families just like yours. And care.com has safety and hiring tools so you can hire with confidence. Or you can even get a senior care advisor plan and talk to a master's level social worker to build a personalized care plan. I'm partnering with care.com because it really is an easier way to find help. For a limited time, go to care.com and use code Kati for 20% off your initial care.com subscription or a senior care advisor plan. That's Kati, all one word, with care.com. Start your senior care journey with confidence. When it's not you, it's care.com. And then I can go out and I can figure things out, and then I can be like, ooh, I don't know. Okay, back to my safe spot.
I love that.
I've even talked about it like you're on the flying trapeze and it's the net.
Oh, yeah.
And so you're trying, but if you fall, and they'll catch you. They're right there, you know?
That's great. I'm scared of heights, so
we won't do flying trapeze.
I'm like, no. Get down.
We'll say swimming pool.
I'm like, yeah.
And they come and touch base and you're like, yes.
I'm like, wait.
Let me hold you.
Hot
You
air
can take
balloon. I'm like, yeah, we're not too high.
Not too high, just a little bit.
No, I love that. I know my girls are very adventuresome. And so sometimes I'm just like, okay, I'm going to close my eyes. You're going to go and you're going to go do that. And I'm just going to be here.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's fine.
I support, but don't want to see
have
it.
Fun.
Can't do it. Yeah.
Yes.
For anybody out there who maybe has children or is thinking about having children, what is one thing you see through being in schools now that children are struggling with that we as adults underestimate?
Yeah. Well, I think there's something here, and I don't know if we are underestimating it. I think we're all kind of in the pulse of this. And what I'm hearing, we have a Kind Leadership group. It's an entrepreneurial incubator group, and it is with our high schoolers. And the reason I'm kind of focusing in on this right now, a large part of our population that we serve are elementary students, right?
Oh, I love that though. What a good time, because I feel like by the time middle school comes around, you're having, it's tough.
It's tough. I mean, I think from every dimension right now, we're really seeing a thread of, need for emotional literacy tools all throughout. Last year in one program, we served 250,000 students nationwide.
That's amazing.
And that was at no cost to these schools. So thank you to everyone who supported. It's really important that we're getting these tools out there because the need is great. But I know what we're doing in our elementary schools. We've been doing that for a very long time. I'm very excited about that. Where we've been growing over the past couple years, the last 3 years, is really addressing the needs of our middle schoolers and our high schoolers. Now, this is kind of a tough population for anyone out there who has a high schooler.
It's tough for us at that age. Like, yes. I don't forget.
and we know it's tough because there's a certain level of like, how do we bring them something for them that feels like them, that's cool, that's not like, you do this, that resonates with them? Like there's a lot we're dealing with, right? So to create a tool or something that feels like for them is really important. So we work hard on that. This past year with the program that we rolled out for World Kindness Day, we partnered with Jefferson Fisher and we brought out some videos with them and we did Kindness Overheard. We gamified it. We gave out AirPods. We did all this stuff. Kids participated. It was great to see that happen.
Yeah, because you never know if they will or not. Because they can be, what I mean?
It's tricky. We did a small test group. We had it was 30 high schools. So we like to roll out, get fidelity, really get our data before we go wide, right?
But that's still a lot,
I mean, our small sometimes is maybe someone's large. Like we roll out and we get requests from all over the nation. It's a blessing, but also we're wanting to make sure the test is done well. We have good tools that we're sending out and that they're wanted. Because no sense in sending things out there that no one uses.
True.
It's not worth it. I don't want to do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we got great feedback this past year. So kind of staying in that vein of conversation and really talking about our high schoolers, we have a very small group, a group of 25. It's our Kind Leadership program, and it's really based out of Austin, but we have some in San Antonio. It's all over Austin, the 25 students that participate at different schools. So it's a good pull of like what's a pulse and what's happening at different schools. And this is an entrepreneurial incubator program where students come in. It's a 4-year program, and they come in, and the goal is for them to pursue a passion, and to have support and guardrails, like what we're talking about just recently, with mentors, with our staff, to help them get to whatever level they want with that passion project that they're pursuing. We have everyone, different kinds of passion projects that are happening. Yesterday we did, and every year at the end of the year, they have an opportunity to summit. So think a kind Shark Tank.
Okay.
So every year we have business leaders come in, and there's a winner. So they all present. So they get to sharpen their speaking skills. They present a 5 to 6 minute pitch where they're up on stage.
Which is a great, I don't think people realize how important that can be in life.
Yes.
Regardless if people are like, but I do this and I don't have, no, you're still pitching yourself. You're still pitching,
Yes.
like when you try to get a job and you have an interview, that's a pitch. And
Yes.
I can't tell you, I mean, obviously for what I do, I pitch all the time.
Right.
But I think in general, to get people to sign on to something you want is a really valuable
It's
tool.
a life skill.
Yes, it's a very important life skill.
It's an important life skill. And really, we meet monthly. We do it over Zoom. And really, we try to meet in person and have work sessions when they can. I mean, high schoolers are busy. But the goal really is to let them know that whatever they're wanting, their passion, that we're going to be right there supporting them, because that to me is where hope and mental health and emotional literacy collide, right? Oftentimes in pursuit of a passion or wanting someone to believe in what they are thinking, that they feel lost. They don't feel seen. They don't feel heard. They're in a sea, like a soup of these are all the expectations of you in high school. And it's cookie cutter. Here's what you're doing. And out you go. And these are where you can go to you can either get a job, you can go to high school, go to college, you can, go get a trade job. These are your options. But for us with this project is we want them to see beyond. We explore whatever opportunity they are dreaming of. And so it's really a place for us to hear, what are they thinking about? We have some that are creating beyond bonding. They're going to do a podcast.
Oh, very cool.
So yesterday we spent 4 or 5 hours with them. They were practicing their summit, and they were getting up and pitching and asking questions, and we were helping them do, like, what would it look like? And the reason I bring this up is because what we get to hear from them is directly what they believe are the needs of students. They're creating projects that directly mirror what are on the hearts and minds of students everywhere. And what I'm hearing is that kids are concerned about not connecting in person. Period.
And how insightful of them, because I worry about that for all of us, but
Yes.
particularly for our children, because of not only COVID, but because of the internet as a whole, right? Like the amount of times people will say, like, have you talked to, let's say, like my friend Kim, have you talked to Kim recently? And I want to say yes, but I have not. I have just messaged her, which is not the same.
Yes.
And one of my friends actually wrote, Dr. Ben Ryan, I had him on the podcast months ago. He wrote a book, Brains Need Friends. He's a neuroscientist. And he talks about essentially the fact that, like, if I just texted you and I'm like, hey, Andrew, I'm thinking about this. It's like essentially like junk food, where me in person right now with you, this is like a full meal.
Correct.
It's like well balanced. I'm getting all the I'm getting all the things that I need out of connection with others. And I mean, we know neurologically how soothing that is for our system, but it's just really, really, what you're doing is so powerful. And then there's this huge part. So I do something called dialectical behavior therapy.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
And what you're talking about sounds like a business pitch, right? We could be like, oh, you're just preparing kids for the real world. Yes, but what I would call it is building mastery. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but it's a great way for people to build confidence.
Yep.
And we don't talk about it enough. And as adults, especially, it's difficult to motivate people to do it. But I'm like, pick something you like kind of know about or you're interested in and like get really good at it. Like learn about it.
Yeah.
And you don't have to be the best. I'm just saying get better than you were yesterday. And because doing that and like building a skill, you feel confident. Look at me. Look what I did. Look at what I knew and look what I know now. I could barely hold a guitar. Now I can play this whole guitar riff.
Yeah.
Or I was really interested in AI and mental health. And now look, I created this little chat bot. It can like talk to you a little bit.
Yes.
Amazing.
It's so encouraging to see these students. I have one who's graduating this year. Her brother is a freshman, and she's like, I really want my project to live on beyond me. She's been with us for the last 3 years, and she's like, I'm really trying to get him to do my project.
Oh, to like pick it up? It's almost like pass on my business.
Pass
like
on.
To keep it.
To keep it, because it's focused on schools and it's focused on kids connecting.
She's
even mentoring some of the other kids of how to get kids to sign up. She's like, well, at Westlake, we do it like this. I had success in getting kids to sign up to do my project. If you do this at Austin High, they'll sign up more. So what we're seeing is kids cross-communicating on how to build community and how to encourage it. We're doing all the projects are, everything from hands-on tools that they're creating for the NICU because they're personalizing it to their own experience of being a NICU baby and they want to do this for someone else, or looking at other nonprofits and how to impact nonprofit, it is incredible the amount.
Isn't your mind just blown by their...
I'm blown away by and encouraged by the thoughtfulness in which they are really seeing the world and how they want to connect more deeply. Most all of them yesterday said, I hate social media. All of them. And they just desire an opportunity to connect, and they don't know how. And so that is what we're trying to do with this program. I have big goals, of course. Simon Sinek, I think it was Simon, said something on a different podcast, but he was saying something to the effect of like, give a entrepreneur. I consider myself an entrepreneur with little to no resources. Give someone like that. Like I have big dreams always. I'm like, and this is how I'm going to scale it. I'm going to scale it across the nation. I'm going to do all these things. And you give a big business, like I'm always trying to do more. And then you give like a huge, corporate entity, and their scale, the way they don't have big enough dreams because they have so many things they're doing, right? And he said it more eloquently. I don't remember. I just remember latching onto that I'm this entrepreneur. I always have these big dreams. People look at me like that's never going to happen. But trust me, it's going to happen.
And those are their limitations. Like I saw that there's this woman on TikTok who said, I was telling my girlfriend I had these big dreams, and she said, you should be more realistic. And she's like, I should have better friends. That's what her
exactly.
Boom, boom. And I'm like, yes, because why not dream big? And why not think in that, like we talked, I was talking about energy and stuff. I'm like, the world's not on a budget. I want what I want. And I have those thoughts for a reason. And
I like that. The world's not on a budget.
And I feel like you're having those dreams for a reason. Like you're put here for a reason.
Yeah, I think this is the future for our kids.
I believe in a purpose, and this is your purpose. And for people to think smaller, it's funny, one of the talks that I give is kind of about this, where I'm like, we have to embrace the cringe, the dreaming big, these like wild ideas, because if we only think about what we are sure is going to work, and we're very moderate and we're being realistic, then you miss out on all the good stuff. Because, it'll never be the perfect time. You'll never be thinking about, you can't think with a budget. You have to think wild, and you have to put it out there. And
we had no budget when we started.
But that's how big things happen.
It was Kinko's. You realize the dreams, and that's what we do for our kids. We help them see beyond any limitations and let them know they're limitless and that all things are possible with an idea and with caring, loving adults around them that want to support them. And that's what we bring around them. And that's the goal.
Yeah. What a beautiful thing to learn at a younger age.
Yeah.
It really sets them up for success.
Yeah.
I would be remiss if we did not talk about your other books, and I have them.
Oh, yeah.
So tell us about these children's books that you have written. Because I mean, it's funny when Jen, our mutual friend, told me about you, I was like, she should write children's books. She goes, as a matter of fact, she has.
Well, it took me a long time to write them. Enoughie Buddy Finds His Superpower is the first book. And I will tell you, the story of why I even wrote the book. We were doing a counselor training in Arlington, actually. And we were there training 50 counselors, and we were ahead of schedule. And my team pushed me up there and said, Andra, kill time. I was like, okay. And they're like, tell them the story of Enoughie Buddy. So I got up there and I held our doll and I said, okay, let me tell you the journey of Enoughie Buddy and how he came to life. And so I told the story, and the counselors said, oh, hey, is that written down somewhere? I'd love to share that with my students. And I looked at them and it was at the beginning of the year, and I said, no, but it will be. And I had somewhere to go. I was traveling, and I wrote it in my note stock on the plane. And I sent it to my illustrator, who's been with me since forever. Mm-hmm. And I just wrote it, and that's how it came to be. Mm-hmm. This story's lived with me since the beginning of time. Of course, I had a dear editor, Tolly Mosley, who's been with me, that made it make the most sense.
Of course, I work with editors too.
Yes, I had my words. She said maybe sounds better this way, so it's great. But yeah, we brought Enoughie to life. It's been such a joy. I never dreamt I would be a children's author, but it's been a joy. I love seeing his story come to life, and Enoughie holds a very dear place in my heart. Mm-hmm. Sorry,
it's okay.
He's created so many memories with me and my girls.
Yeah.
And helped so many children and parents when they didn't have the words. And he's really the anchor for this organization to help skill build and really give words to emotions for when we don't have them. Mm-hmm. And that's been really crucial in this emotional literacy that we're trying to put forth. I remember starting the kindness campaign. And one thing I really want to say is, when I started this, a decade ago, saying the kindness campaign, people were like, kindness is such a soft skill. Like, I remember trying to even have a meeting with anyone, and people thought, that's fluff. And now, I remember talking with my friend Tolly, who works still with me, and she said, we've got to put the science behind kindness. I was like, you're right. How do we do that? And because no one at the time, it was anti-bullying, no place for hate. It was all these things that I didn't want to say every day. And I knew in my heart that I couldn't live my life that way. Like, if this was going to be my life, I wasn't going to say those things every day. Sure, we're suicide prevention. Yes, the end goal is that people live to that next day. But every day I want to talk, I want to think, I want to believe that kindness exists, because it is a natural resource. It is something that we can all get behind, and it is a skill we can build. And so that I believe wholeheartedly in. And now that it's so accepted today, I just want to celebrate. And it makes me feel like those walls are coming down and people are really embracing it. It definitely makes my job easier. I've seen the growth. I've seen people, doors open up for meetings. I'm flying tomorrow morning bright and early to California. People are wanting to meet with me. It's really turned a page for me, and it feels good after so many years of doors, saying, oh, it's a soft skill. Corporations, everyone. So it feels good. The next book, so the first book, I'll kind of backtrack. The first book was really about Enoughie Buddy finding himself. Mm-hmm.
Cute.
A summary is he's adopted, he's blue, he's round, he feels different, he doesn't feel like he belongs. Much of what I felt at the time I was sorting through with my girls about really what does it mean to belong, and what does it mean to have a superpower. We all have a superpower, and it's just about knowing it and sharing it with the world. And Enoughie Buddy gets to go around as his superpower, helping others identify theirs and really encouraging them to see the beauty within. The second book, something I think about is, okay, now what? You know you have a superpower. How do you activate it?
Activate. I love it.
So this is also really fun because Enoughie Buddy gets friends. And one thing that we know is we can't go at it alone. We're living longer. There's all these things about, what's the, how do we optimize our body, biohacking, and all these longevity things that are coming out. But the biggest thing that we know is that we live longer by having deep-rooted friendships. And Enoughie Buddy couldn't be Enoughie Buddy without having a friend. And he's got 9 little superpower buddies that go around the neighborhood. And they all talk about their superpowers because I think that it's important, the people you surround yourself with. And he surrounds himself with some really cool characters, all little animals.
They're really cute, really.
All little animals that go around the neighborhood. And I took time to think about, what are some real hangups that might happen in a neighborhood for kids to struggle with, and how could these animals with superpowers activate and really kind of go through it in a loving way. And so that's what happens in this book. It's a way to share and delight and have fun with it. But also it's good for parents, like, to talk about superpowers with their kiddos and talk about their own. I think that's a really important tool for parents. You live a big life, but talk about it. Like, what do you think mommy's superpowers are, daddy's? And like, that's a good parenting thing, or even between spouses, like thinking about, like, that's a shared experience that often gets missed. I did it with my mom, and it was really special. And so I think we can all take a page out of Enoughie Buddy and say, how are you living your life? And how are we communicating with our superpowers? One of the biggest things that we're really focused on with the second book in the launch is what kind of a communicator are you? We have a quiz that's on our website, which we can link, and really finding out what kind of a communicator are you, because each of these characters embody a way to communicate with their superpowers. And if you use it and use it appropriately, it'll really help you in your daily life and remind you that using that superpower, you can really go far in life, but also in the way you lift other people up around you.
Yeah, and it was a fun quiz. I took it. I
know. Do you want to reveal what you are?
I know. Guess, put it in the comments. Yes, I am an Enoughie Buddy.
Which made me so happy. I have to admit, the first time I took it.
Which one are you?
I am Ariana the Axolotl.
Oh, cute.
So, okay. And I think it might, I have a little story about this character. And it's when creating Ariana the Axolotl, she's in a bubble.
You can see her here.
Yes. I was sitting with my parents. My dad has a heart condition, and we've been going through that. So anyone who has an aging parent or someone who is struggling with any kind of ailment, you spend a lot of sofa time. And I was struggling with the character and trying to figure out what I wanted this character to be. I wanted it to be an Ariana and I couldn't figure out the animal, and I was really struggling with it. And I was sitting there with the character, and then axolotls, for anybody who knows anything about an axolotl, they cannot be on land. And so I was really trying to be crafty and create a way for this little character.
Because she's like a lizard, right? It's like
it goes
underwater.
In the water. Yeah. Okay. And so I was trying to create a dreamy world where all these unlikely characters get together and they journey around together. And also there could be some interesting next book stories that are going to happen around the friendships and how they came together. But I really enjoy, and it was very heart-centered whenever I got that quiz, and I did the first one, and it was Ariana the Axolotl, because that was the only character I created with my dad and my mom. So it was really special to me that was kind of the first thing. Both books are very special to me. There's a lot that goes into that book. Obviously, the character, the whole just foundation of the creation of this whole program and mission is very personal to me. And it's personal whenever I see a child enjoying the programs and the tools that we create in the schools, and just my team is beautiful, and many have been with me for over 10 years. And it's just really a joy to get to do the work and get to spend time with them.
Yeah, it's wonderful. I mean, you've created a whole movement, I would say. It's funny when I do research for interviews because I don't want to know too much, because I want you to tell me, but I want to learn enough that I can ask the question to get the information. It's a funny balance.
Yeah.
But it's very cool. It's wonderful what you do.
Thank you.
And it's something you should be proud of. It's exciting, The amount of times that and even in my community have said, like, why don't they teach emotional intelligence in school? Like, why are we, I don't know if this resonates with you, but why are we square dancing? We should be teaching him here. Like, why are we should do emotional intelligence? Why are we square dancing? It's not necessary. Like, that'd be an easy swap out. I love square dancing, but.
Well, actually, we have a whole dance series that's built on our 4 pillars.
Oh, I love it.
And it teaches dance within it, but you learn the pillars along with it.
Sneaky sneak. I like it.
We have a lot of that spinach in your smoothie
Yes.
stuff because a lot of our tools are art-based. So whether you're creating music, whether you're doing art itself, puppet shows, we have a lot of that because we have to meet our students where they are so that they actually can accept it. And mental health is what's good for one is not good for someone else.
How can people get involved? Can they request? I know you're probably very busy, but like, is there a way to get, the Kindness Campaign to come out, or tell us a little bit about that?
They can reach out to our website and really just we can put it in the show notes, but really just reaching out to us and letting us know their needs. We try to meet all the demands. We do open enrollment for World Kindness Day, where they receive tools at no cost to the school. We try to meet the demand of everyone. Obviously, there's a balance there of funding and where they are and all of the things. But that open enrollment happens in May. And so be on the lookout because
soon.
Because that is soon. And that we send out the tools in early October, because World Kindness Day is November 13th. So we, beyond that, we do go to schools. We do go on site. If they want magic mirrors, if they want these trainings, if they want us to come speak, if they want all of those things, they just reach out and at info@tkc.com, the website, and then we try to make it happen.
That's wonderful. Yeah. So if you're interested, I always like, how do we bring you
and
up?
volunteer. We have these are great. We get volunteer bracelets. I gave you some. We have a volunteer program you can do in your school, which is great. We also send bracelets out. This is national. So there's a lot of ways where if we can't be on site, we've created programs where you can implement it on your campus without us being there. We can do virtual. We've done many different, the way I like to say is like, tell us what you want, and then we will work with you to make sure we can do something that fits what you need.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
When you take care of yourself, because this is a lot, you're doing a lot.
Yes.
And I want to recognize that as a fellow entrepreneur.
Yes.
What is in your self-care toolkit? What are the ways that you take care of yourself or make sure you can keep getting up and doing all of this?
We mentioned it at the top about gratitude. I do have a gratitude journal. I kind of have this chair I sit in every morning, and when the sun is out, I love it. I, try to take that in, the sun. I do my gratitude journal. I am very active. I work out every morning. I've been pretty good about moving my body. We also have this program called Walks of Kindness, which I try to do one every day, or at least once a week, if not. But that's something, it's the 3 Gs. It's gratitude, grounding, and green. And so if you're out there and you're thinking you need a quick mental break, so say you're in a meeting and you need to get out, I will try to do that. even if I'm just walking, I live downtown in Austin, so I'll walk to get my lunch. That really helps me. And I look for green because that always helps to reset your brain. While I'm walking, I'll say gratitude again. And then I'm grounding, I'm just like walking, and that really helps reset my rhythm and helps reset my mood. That's really also good for me. Like if I'm in high anxiety or something's happening, I mentioned also baths are such a big part of my life. There's nothing better than just like filling the tub and getting in the bath at night. Family is a huge piece of my self-care. Family and my friends. I try to spend as much time with all of them. And then, for another huge part of my mental health, I really spend a ton of time. I mentioned so many podcasts. I can't keep them all straight. I really try to be a learner. I'm so curious. I don't have a degree. I don't, since I got into this industry of, really of caring for individuals in this space, I have taken so many classes on trauma, on, Matthias J. Barker, Dr. Frank Anderson. Like I have absorbed, and I love it. I love it, love it, love it. So every podcast I can listen to, every book I can read, Jefferson Fisher's book on the next conversation. So all of those things are really what feed me. And so every opportunity I can do in every waking moment, on the way here, I was listening to something. On the way back, I'll listen to something. I feel like that fills my cup. Those are the ways that I feel really are energizing to me.
I always tell people, like, you need to have things you can do at different times, because if we can't get outside, or let's say we're on a plane, like,
well, those are my consistent. I mean, every now and then I'm in the red light bed or the, doing all the longevity stuff. I'm a huge advocate for women's health. So there's a lot there that I'm researching and actively pursuing as I'm.
And I love being a learner too. I think it's something that I've been thinking about a lot more lately, is as we get older, for whatever reason, I have this belief that I don't want to have anymore, that like adults are supposed to know how to do everything.
Yeah.
I'm like, we don't know. I only know what I've done. And so if I'm going to try, I want to try new things. And I think, again, building mastery, trying something new and getting better at it, it makes us feel good too. Another tool, another skill.
Well, right. I mean, like I did Mahjong for a little bit.
Mahjong is a
I know. I just I don't have the bandwidth right now. Maybe in the summer. Pickleball. People ask me, I love pickleball. It's like I like to insert things when I can. I have a long history of drumming and doing those things. I'd like to insert that back into my life. Music is so good for me, and being able just to get behind a kit and drum.
I was just going to say, do you play drums anymore?
I haven't in a little bit, but I'm getting back to it.
I love it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's such a special talent.
I have a cajon in my apartment, and I do play that, and that's not the same, but yes. But yeah, I think there are all these things where, try new things, do it, and I've done a lot of things and it feels good. So it just is seasonal, all the things, but I love trying new things. I also really like challenging myself.
Clearly.
Seeing where the next challenge comes and making it happen. I'm not afraid. I think I get afraid, or I'm nervous. I've failed at some things. I've had to close things down, wrap things up, shut down some businesses. I've done it all. And it feels like, and I survived.
Yes, and I'm here.
And I learned a lot.
Things are still happening.
And I learned a lot in that process, and it felt good.
To shift gears as we wrap up here, I have a couple of questions.
Okay.
About kindness in particular. Because it's the whole campaign. What is something about kindness towards ourselves or others that you wish more people understood? Because you said kind of early on, people thought it was like a soft thing.
Someone said, it's said that kindness is free.
It costs me nothing to be kind. I always say that to people.
It costs me nothing. And the other day, I heard someone say, kindness is not free. And I was like, because it took someone somewhere a lot of time, effort, intention, whatever it was, meaning, like it meant something to them to do whatever it was.
True.
It was purposeful. And I thought about it and I was like, because I've always said, like, kindness is free. You can just have it. And I'm like, you know what? Everything we've done was purposeful. It took a lot of time. It actually did cost money from some standpoint. And I thought about it. And something I intuitively know is, you know, when kindness exists, and you know when you've had it, and you know when you don't have it. So there's a lot of this that I think is unknown about kindness, right? And it's a delicate word because it's so important to the fabric of our culture, of society. Every time I hear just call like a Grammy award speech, a graduation speech, somebody who passes away, you read it in an obituary. Every time there's something gets said about this person was kind. Mm-hmm. And so I think hearing that, there is a deep-rooted sense that as a people, that we need to focus on that word more and take it more seriously and understand the worth that we, when you receive it, what all went into that.
Yeah. Well, I think it gives it value, right?
The value.
Because I'm like, yeah, it's free. It doesn't cost me anything, but you're right. It does cost. And I think having something that costs means it's valuable, and kindness is valuable.
It's valuable. It's so valuable.
It's really powerful if you think about it that way. I love that.
I think I have a constant conversation about kindness always. It's something that we're always innovating in different ways of how to show it, how to have it, how to mold it, how to have a conversation with it. And it's a beautiful thing. And I'm glad that we know it.
Now, if someone out there is wanting to bring more kindness into their life, or have a new thing that they enact, or that they either do themselves or outwardly, what's a great place or a way for them to start?
Oh, I think the best way is definitely with themselves. Like, it's really intentional, and it really is hard to share kindness with others if you are internally not being kind to yourself. That conversation begins with you. And I love the idea of the mirror work. I think anything you can do to begin a conversation of kindness with yourself, I think that's the crucial beginning of kindness, is loving yourself. Love and kindness is the beginning.
Yeah, I agree. And mirror work, it's funny. I wanted to try it because I've heard from my audience how helpful it is, and how powerful it is, or they've been told they should do it and they're like, what is this? Can I do it? And there's a few things I've learned about it is that it's confronting at first, and you'll cry, and that's fine. We're all criers here. It's fine. I feel like I've always joked, like, I'm an empathic badass. Like, I thought empathy was my superpower.
Yeah.
And I think mirror work has allowed me to tap into the feelings and to let myself cry if I need to that day. And days are different. It's not like I started crying and then I don't. It's like, it just depends. And it depends on what I need to hear too. And you will find yourself when you first do mirror work. I don't know if this resonates with you, but I wouldn't look myself in the eye. Like, I'd be like, oh, pimple. Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Oh, straighten my hair. Or, you start.
Wrinkle.
Yes. Something in my tooth. Because you look at yourself, you realize how much you look at the mirror of yourself. You don't look at yourself. Like, I don't make eye contact with myself in the mirror. I am assessing myself. Like, good. Okay, we're good. Okay. Right. Versus like eye contact. It was so interesting. And it was like, the word I keep coming back to is confronting, because I realized how little I do it. And then the therapist in me was like, well, that's interesting.
You're assessing out here. You're
I'm
like, okay.
I'm like, interesting, Katie. How come this is so uncomfortable? And then like the things that I feel like I need to hear change all the time. I started off very repetitive. Like, I love you. You're enough.
Yeah.
You're important. You're doing good things, and like very, very basic. But then some days I need to hear different things I've learned. And it just, I don't know. It's an interesting thing to start a conversation with yourself. And it's very.
I do just not, and sometimes not the mirror, but I'm getting ready and I'm like, oh my gosh, that was like whatever conversation that I had. I'm like, why did you do? And I'm like, no, you did that because, and that's okay. Like I'll literally talk myself off a ledge. Like, cause I'm like, I can't believe you just said that on a board call. Why would you say that? And then I'm like, it's okay. They understand and you're fine, Andra.
Yeah.
And I'm literally like,
you're like talking yourself down because we can shit talk ourselves so easily.
Oh, for sure.
And I could do that all day long. And I've lived in that space, where I'm like negative about myself. And, and the thing is about that is the only person that ends up hurting is me. And then I won't do things because I'm thinking that I'm not good enough or that I'm so stupid. Like just the other day, my husband caught me because I was doing a podcast interview. And this woman said she used a specific word. And she's like, I don't use that word to describe this. And then what did I do? I used that word the next sentence because it was like
in your mind.
And I said, I'm like an idiot. And he's like, don't talk to yourself.
It's like when someone says, don't look over there, and you're like, what?
Immediately,
right?
Can't not.
Well, that's not fair.
But he was like, don't talk to yourself that way. And I was like, no. And I try not to, but it's interesting to catch yourself if you start paying attention.
I used to do this game with myself, and I still do it when I'm in a moment when my shoulders are high and I'm needing to relax. And I'm like, okay, what's the worst that can happen here in this scenario? What is like, if I do X, Y, Z, this is the worst. Okay. If I do nothing, what's going to happen? And over here is if I do nothing. And if I do kind of in the middle, what's going to happen? Right. So what data am I going to get if I'm in the middle? Over here is do nothing. Over here is like, go like the extreme. So the only way to really get to like a decision in something that is plaguing your mind over like maybe a large contemplation is really putting yourself in like the extreme, the other, and then the middle. And at the middle, you're like, well, it's very safe here.
Yeah.
And really nothing is going to happen. You're like, well, do you get any more data?
Interesting. Are you sure you're not a therapist? In CBT, we call that playing it out.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes, it's like a therapeutic tool.
I mean,
look at you.
I know.
Because we do, like when you're plagued with a decision.
Oh, okay.
I
love that you're giving me all the right terms for all the things I'm doing.
But you're describing, like sometimes we can use like our language gets lost. If you think of like worst case scenario, best case scenario, most likely scenario. And put in lots of effort, don't do anything, do it down the middle. Like that because otherwise we don't think in one extreme. We think in these mixed, and then it feels very chaotic.
It's very chaotic. And like COVID is a prime example. Not that I want to bring that up, but
it's fine.
Where I was like, can I continue this? Like, how do I?
Yeah, if we can't get in person, how do we do this?
How do I make this work? I'm shutting down the band.
Think about that. Yeah,
I'm doing this. My head's exploding. My family's in distress. What am I going to do? So I had to do that on every plane, and I had to choose, and puddles on the ground, sitting on my floor of my bedroom. I had to choose. And I think sometimes it's the only way to see clearly. But that to your, mindset and really figuring it out is in simple terms. I try to do everything simple. When we're talking and everything gets really big, I'm like, simplify. We're going to simplify everything. Because if we can't simplify this, no one else will understand what we are doing.
Yeah. Well, and then because we're not clear, right?
Yeah.
And how can the message come out clear if it's like, it's just too much?
And I am a visionary. I'm gonna, sometimes I talk in riddles and I'm up here in my head. I'm an artist. I'm up here. I'm like, I see it. Do y'all understand? And they're all like, we have no idea what you're saying. I'm like, no. But then when I get down to the business part, I'm like, simplify. So it's really fun. I mean, I don't know if it's fun for them, but it's fun for me.
Yeah, no, but I think you have to have the vision in order to have things come to fruition in general, right? Yeah. And it's like, that's why you have the team members.
Yeah.
Something I have to remind myself is like, I can't wear all the hats and do all the things. I try to, but I can't be a specialist in everything, right? And without the vision, you don't get this end result.
Right.
You don't get the impact. But without the delegation and the follow through, or someone who specializes, then it all works together.
And that's true in anything.
Everybody has a different superpower.
Right.
That they can activate.
I mean, I think all of this is just from my childhood.
Yes,
I mean, some of it is like
though.
pushed into, it's all mushed with my girls, with who knows.
Can people buy these on Amazon and everywhere?
Yes, this is pre-order right now.
Oh.
This is on our website, pre-order, and then this is, you can purchase it.
As you guys know, pre-orders are very important to authors.
Yes.
Pre-order our books. It's very important. And then this one is out everywhere.
Yes.
This is our first baby, second baby.
Yes. All equally important and special.
Of course. I know all my books have a special place in my heart too. I totally understand. Thank you so much for sharing all your insight with us. This has been really beautiful. And I'll put all the links in the description so you can find her and find everything wonderful that Andra and the Kindness Campaign are doing. Yeah. Thanks so much.
Thank you for having me.